Welcome to another episode of the Gay Bar Show, where we explore gay history, one bar at a time. I'm your host, Art Smith, and today's episode is part of a new series called Gay Bar Takeover. In this series, former pioneers from various industries, like finance, healthcare, and fast food, share their journeys as they transition into owning and operating gay bars. It's a fun mix of personal stories, behind the scenes insights, and the future of LGBT safe spaces. In this segment of Gay Bar Takeover, we're going to be talking to Charles Horton, who built a financial services empire in Texas and then sold it all and relocated to Florida to get in the gay bar business. Welcome, Charles.
Hi, how are you?
Excellent. How are you?
I'm fantastic, although not quite accurate, but semi-accurate.
So tell us the true story. How did it all happen?
So if you want the long story, started off in high school doing check cashing and flea markets, was making more money than my parents. Learned that if the checks bounce, I make more money. And so after high school, I got into the check verification guarantee business, grew that to the 8th largest in the country, sold that out to Telecheck right around my 30th birthday to make the millionaire by 30 goal. Next goal was billionaire by 50. All of a sudden 53 rolls along and you're not quite hitting that billionaire goal. I guess you can't hit them all. But I decided that I had plenty of money. I was selling my other business, which I did, and I was just, well, at first I started a CBD MLM company. We opened the day COVID shutdown started, and I had amassed a pretty heavy payroll and decided to just get out while the getting was good, because I had $100,000 a month payroll already, and it just was not a good time to start an MLM business when people were staying home. So then I decided I was going to start open a gay bar retreat center out in Marshall, Texas. Buy the land, get out there. We got the roads paved, we got the buildings coming up, and my only employee quits. And I just decided, this is crap. I'm not going to live out in Marshall, Texas alone. I sold all of that and decided that I needed to stop blowing money on businesses, because I had blown at least $1 million on each of those two companies, and decided that I could live really nice if I just quit trying to start businesses. So what do? I come to Florida to retire. Everyone comes to Florida to retire. And immediately a gay bar fell into my lap. One of my big beliefs in life is to have cash and be available and have it ready when other people need the cash. So I bought the first bar for a little of nothing, and then basically the assets of the business. Then I found another one 3 months later and decided I would try to buy a new bar every 3 months. Well, I never found another deal, even though I keep looking, that were as good as the two, but there's the long story, not very short. Here I am owning 2 bars in Wilton Manors, Florida.
Well, as I recall from our first interview when we talked about your bars a couple of years ago, you made this statement that certainly rings true with most of the people I've talked to in this series, and that is, I'm an entrepreneur, and entrepreneurs don't do nothing well.
It's true.
So now you're living in Wilton Manors, you've sold your other businesses and properties outside of the state of Florida, and you're focused on, right at the moment, 2 gay bars, one in Wilton Manors, one about a mile away in Fort Lauderdale.
Correct. And I keep looking for more. I figure if you're going to do something, you need to do it big. But like most successful entrepreneurs, you want to buy low, sell high. And most of the other bars right now want to sell high. And I'm not so excited about that.
Yeah, but I've been a little bit on this journey with you, and I've watched how many opportunities have come and gone, and there have certainly been some opportunities. And as you know, some of the bars that you've looked at purchasing were ultimately purchased by people in a similar situation to yourself,
Correct.
Who was an entrepreneur in another field, made their money in real estate development and fast food ownership, whatever it was, and saw the same opportunity that you did, and it just worked out that in some cases they got them and you didn't. But
well, the two things I think that it takes to be really successful as an entrepreneur is cash and having the cash at hand, and timing. The one particular bar I think you're talking about ended up selling for the same amount that actually two recent ones sold for the same amount that I had offered, but I went in first. I was the one who dug the wound and put some salt in it, and the other guys came along making essentially the same offer, and they decided they'd take it. I
said, yeah, I guess that's all it's worth. I'll take it.
Yep. So I failed in timing in two of those cases.
Well, you know what they say, the third time's the charm.
There you go. I'm going to keep trying.
There are still opportunities out there. Almost every week I'm hearing about something, a bar that's available for purchase, a bar that's possibly going to be on the market, a bar owner who's ready to retire.
Yep.
Now, the interesting thing about this project, and one of the reasons I kind of wanted to embark on it, and you probably heard this from the day that you bought LeBoy, but people have been talking a lot about the gay bar industry is dying, that gay bars are vanishing from the face of the planet. It's not something we're going to need 10 or 20 years from now. But yet you and other successful entrepreneurs have gone into the gay bar business and been satisfied with the profit and the situation enough that you're still looking to expand that.
That is true.
So what did you learn from your experience in check cashing at the flea market, in running check cashing businesses, and the other enterprises you had that you've been able to apply to bar ownership? Because they don't look like the same industry. Running a go-go boy bar and running a check cashing business sound like two totally opposite.
Sure. I think it all comes down to people. I do two things well. I understand financials, understand how to read them, and I manage towards financials. Second of all, I treat my people well. I give them the autonomy to do a lot of what they want to do as long as their numbers are falling in where they should fall in. So in one of the bars, the bar was having $30,000 to $40,000 a month stolen, and so the owner at the time thought that he was losing money, and he didn't want to be in the bar business anyway, and that's why I was able to make the acquisition. And as soon as I started seeing my due diligence, they had $30,000 to $40,000 a month on their financials going into an asset called cash in tills, and that was about $400,000 of the asset when I started looking at it, and I'm like going, please point to this cash in tills so I can count it, please. And they were like, there is nothing like that. And I'm going like, you need to draw and quarter your accountant. And, we know who did the theft because the theft immediately stopped as soon as that person left. But in the bar business, it's very liquid, as was the check cashing business and the payday loan business. Lots of cash, very liquid, and you just have to be able to account for it all. And in the bar business, the other thing that you have to really consider in addition to cash is your inventory and your liquor. And so the bartenders can pour drinks and pocket the money, or they can double pour, or they can take bottles of liquor home. So you also have to account for all of your alcohol. So every week, essentially, we do a full inventory audit, and we manage, this is just what I've been told, 5% shrinkage is termed acceptable, and that would be bottles breaking, free drinks for customers, that type of thing. And so I manage to that. If you're within the 5%, all is good. If you're not within the 5%, all is not good.
Now, the bar that you bought first, is a bar called LeBoy, which has a pretty long history. I mean, it's been around for 12 years or so.
Yeah.
And it was well known in a lot of places outside of Fort Lauderdale for years. It's a go-go bar. It's, male go-go dancers. And it has been a very stable, successful business for you since you bought it, right? You're happy with the way it's going. The other bar that you purchased, to me, when I first saw it, it's called Lit Bar on Wilton Drive. And when I first went there, it kind of reminded me of a boardwalk bar. Like, it seems like it should be on an ocean front because it's got that big open patio, and it's like outside space that people use to play cornhole or, Jenga or whatever they do out there. But the difference with that bar, obviously LeBoy is more geared toward male customers, probably more 30 and over. And Lit is kind of everybody's bar. I mean, I think I was most surprised when I heard a couple years ago, and again this year, that Lit was voted as the best bar for lesbians.
Yes.
And it's not a lesbian bar.
It's not.
It's a bar for everyone, but lesbians feel so comfortable there that just, keeps them coming.
Correct. One of my core beliefs in life is to not discriminate. I mean, I'm gay as you can get. I'm all gay. I'm not interested in women, but when it comes to friends and just people, I'm a big believer in not discriminating. So women are welcome at LeBoy all the time. They may not be as comfortable there. I mean, some come and have a hell of a good time, but others don't. Most of the boys at LeBoy are gay. They will flirt some with everybody, but Lit is like welcoming for everybody. So we have, a percentage of the people that are normal regulars that are straight, some that are gay, some that are lesbians, and some that may not even know what they are.
Yeah, and both bars I've noticed have a pretty diverse clientele. Where like for instance, we were at LeBoy last night, and you see people that come up there on a Segway or a scooter to go to the bar, and you see people that come up there in a Rolls Royce.
Yep.
You get the full spectrum. It's not all wealthy people, all young people. It's just a whole mix.
It is a total mix, and that's what I love most about it. But yeah, a couple of times I've come up to the club, and there'll be all the Rolls Royces with the drivers standing in front, ready for their customer to come back out again. That's always kind of cool. But again, we welcome everybody. We don't have a cover. Some people come in and never drink and just enjoy the atmosphere, and it really doesn't bother me. It gets more people in there.
Yeah, and that's always good. And the same thing is true of Lit. Whenever I've gone by Lit, everybody seems to be having a great time. On the weekends, when it's nice out and sunny, they're out there. It's like they're having their own little backyard barbecue. Everybody's in a good mood and just kind of jovial and happy. And
yeah, Lit's an interesting case, because a lot of bars, you told me, I think 10 in 10 years, have been there, and nobody's been overly successful. The person, I don't know why the guy that sold me the bar, because he sold it to me for less than a year's profits. Didn't make any sense to me whatsoever, but that's what he did. I took it. And they had done a good job at it, but again, it's all down to people. I kept a happy team. The happy team brought in a lot of people, and a lot of people go to Lit and think it's the best bar out there because of the bartenders and the atmosphere and the wonderful customers that we have. But yes, we don't discriminate. Everybody.
And how long has Lit been operating as Lit?
I believe they tried to open about the same time as the shutdowns happened, and then I bought it. I believe it was February 2022.
Okay, because there was one successful bar in that space that stayed there for a while, and you probably know the woman who ran it. She's still on the drive. Her name is Carol Moran, and it operated as New Moon, which was a lesbian bar. Ironically, those same women are probably coming back because they're used to the location. Right. But it operated for 9 or 10 years in that spot. Okay. That was the only one, but the other ones, Listen and Progress and all that, 2440, they were open a minute and closed again. Yeah. So Lit apparently is a success story for there. And it's kind of great to see that it's different. There's not another bar on the drive that I can think of that really is similar. Yeah, we try to be unique. We were closed Mondays and Tuesdays at first. So we started opening on Tuesdays, and they got to be big and successful. And then we opened on Mondays. They're now big and successful. So we're open 7 days a week, and we have good crowds every night because of different activities, from bingo to darts. So we now got a pool table. And you've also brought in a number of different celebrity performers over time, and not just local, drag queens or whatever. But you've brought in, I know Bruce Valanche has been there, Shishi LaRue has been there. I don't know who else you've had in there, but you've brought in kind of special event stuff to go on there too. Yes, and for New Year's Eve we have Shishi at LeBoy, and then New Year's Day she'll be at
at Lit along with Sister
Roma.
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 I've seen them at porn shows where they're both hosting, and they have great energy on stage. So I'm sure it's going to be a great time in both bars.
Yeah, and I think Roma is like one of the iconic Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence from San Francisco, which is the original city for the sisters. So, she's got a huge internet following. I'm sure that she's got a ton of people who know her and want to see her in South Florida.
Everybody's wanting to buy advance tickets to come see them, and we're like, we don't sell tickets. Come on in and have fun.
Maybe you should sell some advanced VIP parking.
Yeah. And we do sell the table service.
Yeah. So what advice would you give to other entrepreneurs that you've met or who have maybe made their money in fast food or banking or telemedicine or whatever it is, and are kind of considering whether or not the gay bar market is a viable market to dip their toe into? What would you tell them?
Well, the advice I've always gotten, which I don't follow, by the way, but the advice I've always gotten if you're going to get into a business is you want to go work the business and understand it fully. So get a job in a bar, be a bartender, get to know the business inside and out, and go from there. But some of the advice that I got when I bought a bar from other bar owners was don't give away drinks. That's your business. And a lot of bar owners are really want to stroke their ego and want to just give out drinks to all their friends. And I'm a generous person. I'll buy meals. I serve drinks at my house all the time, but when you're in my bar, unless you've just done something like fix my IT system for free, you're probably not getting a free drink from me at my bar. Matter of fact, you'll probably be buying me a drink.
There's another bar owner I interviewed a couple years ago, and the general public does not know his birth name. The name that he's known by is kind of a nickname that he's had for 50 years. And so he told me that he frequently would have people come to the door at his bar and try to tell the doorman, oh, I know the owner, thinking they could bypass the line, not pay the cover. Mm-hmm. And he told them to ask the customer, what is the owner's real name? Mm. And if they didn't know, he would charge them double. So maybe you need to come up with a gimmick like that. Oh, I know Charles. Don't I get a discount? What's Charles's middle name? Okay, it'll be double. Thank you.
I like that. I just say it's double anyway. If you ask for a free drink, it's double. You get the special friend of Charles price, double what everyone else pays.
Now, when I interviewed Tristan Shoecraft about his bars and his history in entrepreneurship, he had said to me that he had plenty of experience in the bar industry, mostly drinking.
Exactly.
Before he bought a bar, he really didn't have a lot of restaurant and hospitality industry experience. And I'm guessing that's the same with you. You were never really involved in bar and restaurant type business before you got into LeBoy.
I knew nothing. I took on a partner in the first bar initially because he had run bars before, and I wanted help. And then for various different reasons, he really never provided any help. And within a month, I was buying him out and learned the business the hard way myself. And I also know other people that have failed doing that. So I'm not saying that it's easy. Bars in Wilton Manors have seasons, and when you're in the off season, you're digging into the pocket and covering payroll. But then outside of that, you're going to make good money and save some of that for when you're off season again.
Yeah, unfortunately, one thing that a lot of people probably don't know, traditionally, when you think of the South Florida bar scene, it extended all the way down to South Beach and included a large part of Fort Lauderdale. Wilton Manors is on the northern edge of Fort Lauderdale, and it's only 2 square miles. It's a very tiny little town. But in the last decade or so, Wilton Manors is the home of the lion's share of bars in the entire area, going from West Palm Beach all the way down to South Beach. I would say a good 75% of the bars in that whole market area are basically on 1 mile of one street.
Yep.
And so that gives you a little bit of an advantage because all those locals in off season, if they're going to go out, they probably want to come to Wilton Manors and bebop between the different bars, and
it is a very unique area. Dallas has its own gay area, but not as many different bars as here, but same kind of concept. And like you were saying earlier, in a lot of America, the strictly gay bars are kind of timing out. And those that I know that are in bars that seem to be shrinking and shrinking, they open it up to everybody, and then they start doing well again.
Well, and since you've been here, in the couple of years that you've owned Lit and LeBoy, surprisingly, the bar scene has expanded. There have been No Manners is new.
Yep.
Tap That Ash is new. The West End is new. Yep. So there's at least 3 brand new establishments that were not operating as any kind of LGBT bar at all that have opened since then, and several other ones that have changed hands in the area. So it's a very active area for the scene.
And if there was more space available, there would probably be more bars open. I keep trying to find space on the drive or near the drive, and haven't been successful.
Yeah, it's a great place. You really kind of pick the right place to dip your toe in the water, because obviously the scene here is very active. There's a very big gay community. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of events. And one thing that I wanted to mention that I'm sure you found different than maybe what you did with your other businesses is that this business here especially is very community centric. So you're involved with a lot of nonprofit organizations. I know you've done events for Latino Salute. I know you've done events for SunServe, Flockfest, all of these organizations. And do you feel like that's an important part of the business? Do you think you have to do that to be a good bar neighbor?
Well, I've been, again, an entrepreneur for a long time, and I believe one of the keys to success is creating an environment for your employees to where they feel like they're really doing good in life. And doing good in life means in part for their employer to be giving back to the community, and the community supports us, and in turn we support the community. Makes me feel good. I think it makes our employees feel good, and it's nice being in such a small town, because we can be a big player and make decent sized donations, or if we were in San Francisco, it may take a lot bigger check to make such a difference.
Impact, yeah. And it gives you the opportunity to wear some of those fabulous dinner jackets that you've acquired in your travels.
Exactly. I love the galas.
So if an entrepreneur friend of yours said, hey, should I get in the bar business? Would you be inclined to say, yeah, it's a good option? Or
so, I've been teaching entrepreneurship all my life. I did something in Dallas called the Boardroom, which was teaching people, and most entrepreneurs will tell you that getting into ego-based businesses such as restaurants and bars a lot of times won't be successful, because you're going to indulge. You talked about one of the previous or one of the new bar owners. They knew the bar business, but what they knew best was drinking. Well, if you go into a bar and you drink up all your profits and give them away to all your friends, you're probably not going to be so successful. Most businesses that are successful are highly successful, are the things that other people don't want to do. Trash pickup is highly profitable and successful. I did, check cashing in flea markets and stuff. It was high risk. A lot of people wouldn't take that risk, and I was very successful with it. So on the face of it, I would tell you that it probably isn't a good area to get into if you don't know what you're doing, but that's why I like buying existing businesses. If you know how to test the financials and make sure that they're correct, you know what the bar's doing, so you're basically buying cash flow, and now it's up to you to improve it. But people lie too, so you need to be able to audit the financials correctly. Your balance sheet needs to audit to the bank statements, which needs to audit to your POS system. Everything needs to balance, and a lot of owners in the bar business or any cash business don't necessarily pay taxes and report everything either. And then they want to get paid on what they don't report, which is a difficulty. So know what you're doing, get some advice. Another one of the big advice I got in life when I was starting businesses is to not think you know everything, and find people to be with you who know what they're doing, and get people on your board of directors that have done what you want to do, and get their advice and listen to their advice. Yeah,
I would say that's probably some pretty good advice. And of course, being creative, I know, for instance, with LeBoy, you've added things to LeBoy that played off of the initial theme of go-go dancers, but the outdoor showers, the lube wrestling, things that weren't being done, that kind of add another layer, but they're still following the same foundation.
Yep. I hear we had some very good shower shows that y'all were, you liked them too last night.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that this is my 2 cents of advice for your running your business there, because I know you're looking for me to tell you how to do that. But I would say that you should hire Quinn to train all the other boys how to do shower shows. Because I cannot tell you how many people told me last night, that's the way it should be done. That was awesome. That was captivating, kept our attention. And I think if you ask him and he's telling the truth, he'll tell you that he made some decent tips doing it too. So
always happy to hear that.
But and I love that about your place. In the last several years, you keep running into people that have great personalities, that are outgoing and, interacting with the customers, which is a really important part.
Yeah, most dancers, when they first come into the club, have like no earthly idea how to pole dance. And that's one good thing about our community is other dancers that are good will come in and teach you early how to do the pole dancing, and hopefully Quinn will be teaching people how to do proper shower shows. Because the more people come in and have a good time, the more they come back, the more money everybody makes.
Right, and the more fun they have, because it's no fun going into a bar with 10 dancers and 1 customer.
Not at all.
So, well, you're apparently doing a really good job with this. I hope you're able to find more bars so we can see, how the Horton Enterprises kind of expands across South Florida and wherever else you happen to find opportunities. So,
I'm looking forward to the prospect, and I'm surprised some of the new bars here are paying like $40,000 and $50,000 a month in rent. Never thought they would last. They're still there, and wish them the most success. I think the more places that are bringing people in, the more people we have to go to all the different bars.
Yeah, and I think if you look at the bar scene across the country, the ones that have really had staying power, just like you mentioned in Dallas with Oaklawn. Oaklawn was kind of evolved from a bar owner who decided to put several gay bars on that corner. Cabin Enterprises still operates the lion's share of the bars in Dallas, as far as I know. Sue Ellen's, JR's, S4, Rose Room, they're all under the same family umbrella, and they're all on the same block, basically. Same thing here in Wilton Manors, all on the drive, pretty much.
But not the same owners for the most part.
Right. But having a neighborhood like that, also makes a big impression.
Absolutely. No, living in Wilton Manors has been fantastic. It's heavy percentage gay. Wherever you go out, you're seeing guys holding hands. The entire city council, except for the mayor, is all gay, but he's about as gay friendly. The mayor is about as gay friendly as you get. He's more open-minded than I am in some things. I was at a party one time that was getting to be a little too much for me, and I'm heading out the door, and there comes our mayor in, all smiling, and I'm going like, "Oh boy, do you know what you're getting into?"
And he stayed.
To my knowledge, yep.
Well, I hope you find what you're looking for, and that we can see more impact from your bar business and your background in the bar scene here and wherever else we go. Thank you.
I appreciate the work you're doing, and it's always very interesting to hear the stories that other owners tell.
This has been another episode of Gay Bar Takeover with Charles Horton. Check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/@gaybarchives and find over 150 hours of video interviews discussing the gay bar market.